Welcome to the Digital Job Site. I'm Jake Turner.
And I'm Melissa Chen. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder that while we're both experienced construction professionals, the Jake and Melissa you're hearing today are fictional hosts created for this podcast episode.
That's right. Though the stories and insights we share come from real industry experience. And speaking of experiences, Melissa, wasn't that Context Summit last week something else?
Absolutely. Meeting so many of our listeners in person was incredible. The panel discussion on wearable tech nearly filled the conference hall.
Yeah, and I noticed something interesting. When we asked how many folks were still using whiteboards and spreadsheets to track their equipment, almost half the room raised their hands.
That's exactly why today's topic is so timely. We're diving into how contractors are finally making the leap from those dusty whiteboards to digital solutions that actually work in the real world.
And we've got a great case study to share. I think a lot of our listeners are going to see themselves in this story.
Let's meet Mike. Not his real name, but a real contractor whose equipment management journey mirrors what many of you are experiencing right now.
Mike runs multiple crews across several job sites. For years, his morning routine started with marker in hand, updating a whiteboard in the yard that showed where every piece of equipment was headed.
The skid steer to Site A, generator to Crew 3, forklift due for service next Tuesday.
But by mid-afternoon, that whiteboard might as well have been fiction. Equipment borrowed without updates, maintenance reminders falling to the floor, dispatchers fielding angry calls about missing equipment.
I can picture the chaos. Where's my lift? Why is the compressor still at the other site? Every contractor's daily nightmare.
Exactly. And this wasn't just annoying, it was expensive. McKinsey found that contractors lose about $2,600 per piece of equipment annually due to downtime.
And for Mike's company, with over 200 assets, we're talking hundreds of thousands in lost productivity and unnecessary rentals.
Man, this takes me back to my PM days. I remember standing with a crew of 8 guys, all on the clock, waiting for an excavator that was supposedly coming from another site. Turns out it had broken down, but nobody updated the system.
How long did you wait?
3 hours. Then we scrambled for a rental that cost us double. And the kicker? We had another excavator sitting idle at a different site that was wrapping up early that day.
That's exactly what Mike experienced. His breaking point came when an excavator was double assigned. One crew was left stranded during a crucial dig, subcontractors billed for idle time, and the project got delayed by 2 days.
Let me guess. Tens of thousands in unexpected costs?
Bingo. And that's when Mike realized his whiteboard system wasn't just inefficient. It was actively costing him money.
The thing is, these hidden costs add up in ways most contractors don't fully track. There's over-renting equipment you already own because you can't find it or don't know it's available.
Paying for idle labor when crews show up and equipment isn't there.
Higher repair costs because you're reactive instead of preventive.
And don't forget compliance fines when inspection records go missing. OSHA penalties can exceed $15,000 per violation.
Yet, according to industry experts, the majority of general contractors still don't use digital tools for on-site equipment tracking. Why do you think that is, Melissa?
I think it's partly inertia. We've always done it this way. And partly fear that new technology will be complicated or that crews won't adopt it.
I'll admit, I was that guy for years. I thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the truth is, it was broke. I just couldn't see how much it was costing me.
And that's what Mike realized too. Every month he delayed going digital meant more wasted rentals, idle crews, breakdowns, and compliance risks.
So what changed for Mike? How did he finally break the whiteboard habit?
He discovered CMMS at a trade show. That's Computerized Maintenance Management System for anyone new to the term. Another contractor was raving about how it transformed their operations.
I'm guessing Mike was skeptical at first. I know I would have been.
Totally skeptical. The pitch sounded too good to be true. real-time equipment tracking, automated service alerts, digital logs. But he was desperate enough to give it a shot.
And that's when things started to turn around for him. So he decides to try CMMS. What happened next?
The difference was immediate. Suddenly, he had real-time visibility into where every piece of equipment was located, who had it, and when it was coming back.
No more mystery disappearances or "I thought Jim had it" conversations?
Exactly. His crews started using QR codes to check equipment in and out. Accountability wasn't an argument anymore. It was right there in the system.
That's huge. In my experience, half the battle is just knowing where your stuff is and who's responsible for it.
Plus, foremen could update status from their phones in the field, cutting down all those calls and texts. And the system would automatically flag when equipment hit service intervals. No more waiting for breakdowns.
So instead of reacting to problems, Mike was finally getting ahead of them. What kind of concrete results did he see?
The numbers were eye-opening. With better tracking, he discovered nearly 30% of his fleet was sitting idle at any given time.
30%? That's massive.
Right? By using the scheduling feature in his CMMS, he reduced unnecessary rentals and saved $50,000 in just 1 year.
What about compliance? That's always been a headache for contractors.
When OSHA showed up, Mike pulled digital service records in minutes instead of scrambling through binders for days. No fines, no stress.
And I'm guessing his dispatcher was pretty happy too.
Ecstatic. The person who once spent 5 hours daily on calls now used a drag-and-drop scheduling board, saving 15 hours every week.
What I find interesting is how this kind of system benefits everyone in the company. It's not just a tool for equipment managers.
Absolutely. Shop managers get visibility and accountability. Superintendents can trust that equipment will arrive when promised. Dispatchers get a centralized dashboard instead of juggling calls and texts.
Project managers keep their projects on track with fewer equipment delays. And the folks in the corner office, the CFOs and operations directors, they get actual data to make smarter decisions.
Remember our interview with Sarah, that construction CFO, in episode 79? She mentioned how their CMMS data showed 25% of their lifts were underutilized while rentals were increasing. They adjusted and saved over $50,000 annually.
But here's what I really want to know. How did Mike get his crews to actually use the system? Because we all know construction isn't exactly known for embracing new technology overnight.
That's the brilliant part. He didn't try to overhaul everything at once. He started with a pilot at 1 yard, a smaller location with moderate operations.
Smart move. Limits the risk and gives you proof of concept before rolling out company-wide.
Exactly. And he made the digital dispatch board look similar to the old whiteboard. Familiarity made adoption easier. Crews weren't learning a whole new system, just using a digital whiteboard.
I like that approach. What about training? I'm picturing some of the old-school foremen I've worked with trying to navigate new software.
Mike focused on the simplest, most helpful feature first, QR scanning. Scanning a code is faster than calling or filling out paper logs, so crews saw the benefit immediately.
Makes sense. Start with the easy win that solves an obvious pain point.
Then he automated maintenance, tying service reminders to actual usage hours. Instead of waiting for a hydraulic line to fail, the system flagged it after 500 hours. A $100 replacement prevented a $5,000 breakdown.
And once the foundation was solid, I'm guessing he scaled up.
Exactly. Within 3 months, every crew at the pilot yard was using CMMS without complaint. Within a year, they'd gone company-wide, and the system had paid for itself several times over.
You know, I was that skeptical guy for years. I thought digital systems would be more trouble than they were worth. But looking back, I wasted so much time and money trying to manage equipment with whiteboards and spreadsheets.
What finally changed your mind?
Honestly, watching a competitor complete projects faster and underbid us consistently When I finally asked their ops manager how they did it, he showed me their equipment management system on his phone. That was my wake-up call.
That's what it comes down to. Contractors don't need more equipment. They need to control the equipment they already have.
Exactly. Once Mike replaced his whiteboard with CMMS, equipment management went from constant headache to growth opportunity. Crews became more productive, rentals dropped, and compliance risks disappeared.
If Mike's story sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. There was a time when whiteboards made sense, but today's projects demand more.
We've put together an equipment control readiness checklist to help you assess your current processes. You can download it from our show notes or community page.
And if you're ready to explore CMMS options, we've linked several solutions that offer free trials, including the one Mike implemented.
Next week, we're diving into wearable technology on construction sites, from smart helmets to exoskeletons. It's going to be a fascinating look at how these tools are preventing injuries and boosting productivity.
Until then, keep building the future.
This has been the Digital Job Site. I'm Jake Turner.
And I'm Melissa Chen. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.